everybody. I'm Dr. Jane Montero. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel called Digital Design to the Rescue. I'm going to be sharing with you lessons I've taught over the last couple of years using Chromebooks, and I'm also going to bring in new ones that I've planned for the coming year ahead. So welcome, sit back and relax, and here we go. Episode 3, Abstract Color Compositions, also known as How to Use Google Draw, the basics. So when I think about the basics of Google Drawing, I think about shapes, color, line, pattern, repetition, overlapping, geometric, and organic shapes. All of these will be talked about in this episode of my YouTube channel. So let's get started with digital shape composition. So if you're looking for something that's engaging, that will teach students some general functions of Google Drawing, start with geometric compositions. So let me go through this lesson that I developed, and you can use any artist that you like. These are just two that I happened to see on Instagram, and I thought they were perfect examples for what I wanted my students to start thinking about. So here are the general directions. I require students to select one of the following shapes: circles, rectangles, or triangles. They have to include at least 20 total shapes, and then they choose their own and create their background as a radial gradient. Why 20 shapes, you ask? So that students can experiment with size, overlapping shape, and repetition. Hi everybody, let me show you a real basic step-by-step on how to create a digital shape composition. So if you are unfamiliar with even how to open Google Drawing, what you need to do is open up your drive. And what I say to students who don't know is when you're looking at your Chromebook, go to the waffle, that's what we call those, the 9 dots up here in the corner. And when you click that, you'll see a screen like this. This is mine, of course. And you'll look for the plus sign that says new, and you'll click it. When you scroll down, you don't see Google Drawing. Don't panic, have no fear. Go to where it says more, and there is Google Drawings, and then you'll click that. From here, you can begin to build your digital shape composition. So what I like to do first is I have students click the box where it says Untitled Drawing, and let's name that. What's the title of the assignment? Digital shape composition. What one shape are they going to use? What do you want to use? I'm going to go with a triangle. So you go to your shapes icon, which is right next to your text box, and you click, kind of hover over shapes. And I tell students they can use any shape in the second row all the way across. I limit this, or the top shape, but a square. So here we go. Let's see, I'm going to use a triangle. So you click the shape you want. And usually I just say, let's just practice first. Press down and draw a shape. There's a very narrow one. Come over here, make a wider one. So you can really experiment with the shape. I just like to try a whole bunch of different ones. You know, you can spin them by taking the little circle and giving it a turn. If you draw a shape that you really like, you can copy and paste it, move it down, change the color, whatever. Okay, so you could continue with that, or you could start a whole new one. But let's say that I'm going to take this one and I'm going to use this triangle. I'm going to move it way down here to the bottom. I'm going to get rid of the border. So to do that, you go next to the paint bucket where the little pen is with the black line and make that transparent. What color do I want it? Okay, so here is where you can have some fun. Tell your students you want yours to be warm colors, cool colors, any colors, monochromatic. Really depends on your goals for the assignment. Okay, so I'm going to pick a color here. I'm going to stay in, I'll just do colors that appeal to me. How about that? So I'm going to start with, there's a dark yellow. If you want that same shape again, do a Control C, Control V. On my home computer, it's really Command C and Command V. Move this up. I can change the color. Now, do you remember, have you ever shown your students about overlapping or turning things transparent? So if I want this one in front of that one, you click the one you want in the front, go to arrange, go to order, bring to front. Okay. If I want it the other way, go to the arrow and turn it back. Okay. If you want one to be transparent, click the one you want transparent, come over here, click the custom button, and then you get this scale where you can slide this along. Okay. So again, really depends on what you want to do. So I'm going to continue working on this and building this, as I say. Get rid of the border. I don't particularly like that triangle. I was just doing that to show you. I want mine to be a little bit longer. Bring this one this way. Maybe I make that one darker color. I mean, again, really, really up to you on what you want to do with your colors. Okay, so hold that thought. Let's experiment for just a moment here, and I will get right back to you. Okay, so I have a whole lot of triangles on here. And one of the things that I like to make sure to tell students is to be selective in how you arrange them on your page. They cannot just copy and paste the same exact shape 20 times. They can definitely copy and paste it, change the color, change the transparency, change the size. That's fine. But you want to talk to them about the negative space. Now that I have these triangles all over this page, what does it look like when I put a background on it? So if you're using a Chromebook, you can press down with both fingers on the keypad, and it will bring up a pop-up menu that allows you to select a background. But if you're doing this on a desktop like I am, I need to go to Shape, select a rectangle, and draw this to fill the entire page. Get rid of the border, arrange, order, send to back. But I'm going to make it a gradient. How do you do that? You go to the bucket, you go to gradient, and I'm going to go to custom. When you're doing this, there are two different kinds of gradient. There's linear, like blinds, and there's radial, like rays of the sun. So I'm going to go to radial. The first circle is for the center. I'm going to go yellow. Then I'm going to click add. This is going to add another color. Go back to your circle. I'm going to go with an orange. Go to the last one. I'm going to add a color. I'm going to go with a red. And then I'm going to click OK. Aha. Now look how cool. So these are really fun to play around with. Students have a blast doing them. I do, as you can see, I've done tons of them. So hope that helps. That is really the beginning. So hold that thought and we'll move on in just a moment. All right, a quick point about assessment. I grade mine by points. It's a point-based rubric that I create. So you can see this is a total of 5 points: geometric shape, overlapping, transparency, adding a background, and at least 3 different colors. That's it. So the second project for this episode is based on Hilma af Klint, and it's another abstract composition for my 6th graders. The focus of this project is, yes, the shape and line tools, yes, transparency and arranging, but also a pastel color palette. So with this assignment, I do bring in art history. I like to do that with all of my assignments. And I'm focusing primarily on Hilma af Klint, but there are other artists you could certainly include. So Hilma was born in Sweden. She was one of the first abstract artists, and you can really find a wealth of information about her online. Many examples of her style of painting circulate really through any general Google web search. So talk about pastel colors. What do students notice? Talk about shapes. Are they specific geometric shapes? A lot of circles, but some of these are very free-form organic shapes. So in addition to overlapping and using the general tools, the purpose of this is for students to become comfortable using the curve line tool. All right, this assignment is worth 5 points. They're using Google Drawing. They must use the curve line tool, the scribble tool. They can use a pre-made circle and square, but no others really. Number of main shapes, 9 to 10. Show the use of transparency. Keep the color palette with pastels, maybe a little black and white. In the end, file, download, PNG or JPEG, submit it to Canvas, and away it goes. All right, everybody. So here's a quick how-to on this. You're getting really good at using Google Drawing now, but if this is your first time using the curve line tool, it can be a little tricky, shall we say. So this is one of my examples. Here's another one of my student examples that I was just experimenting around with, and I'm going to keep adding to this. So knowing Hilma's sort of dreamlike quality to her shapes and colors, I think about things like sherbet or um, I don't know, just very, very pale, beautiful colors, summertime colors, things like that. So here's the curve line tool. You go next to the shapes, that little down triangle, click curve. And a curve is going to change direction every time you click with your mouse. So you can kind of see what I'm doing over here. You get back to the beginning, boom. Now you have a closed shape. So Hilma's paintings, she does use the kind of a border line around it. So rather than delete it like we did in the other assignment, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make the border color, I don't know, I'll go with green so we can see it. But I need to bump up the weight. So go next to the border color and click border weight and experiment. There's a 3 times, there's an 8 times, whatever you choose to do. What about that color? That pale blue is the default color. It's not bad. It's kind of a good Hilma color, right? But let me just sort of fiddle around with this a little bit. I'm going to go with a purple. Okay. When you're done with a curved line shape, you'll see this plus sign right here. Go to the arrow. Now I can move the shape around. You can manipulate it, turn it, make it change the direction, change the size. You know this already. Go to arrange, order, send it back, bring it back to the front, whatever you want to do. You can go to the paint bucket and I can go to custom like we did earlier and make this transparent. You'll see more of the background behind it. Some other cool things that are very Hilma-ish is to come over here to the select line and go to scribble. And a scribble is not going to be a closed shape. It's really just like finger painting. Hilma does like to do a lot with spirals, so maybe I stop there. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make this maybe 3-point. She does use a lot of white, but maybe this time I use yellow. So that's really how you just play around with things. This one is a huge success, very safe, very easy, very open-ended. And again, back to the beginning, okay? I'm gonna go back to here. Maybe I make that like of this color again. And just honestly, a lot of this, you just have to dig in and experiment. What I tell students is, don't just go with your first choice. Really keep experimenting around. Go back, look at Hilma's work, find some more connections to what you want to do with your color choices. Okay. And again, don't forget, don't be afraid to use that scribble tool. You can create other things too. I can just go this way, like I kind of did on that other shape that's already there for you. And that will kind of close itself off. Come over here, make it a little darker. So have fun with this one. This one also might tie in a little bit with science if you were doing any science illustrations of mitochondria or things of that nature. Anyway, have fun with this one. Thanks.